of this place. Oh, I have fly spray. I was like, oh, crap, I have fly spray. I'm going to throw a brush on him real quick so that when I fly spray him, I don't just brush it right back off. And he's such a neat guy. What I like about him is that, stand. 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 Good. Stand. Stand. Good. Yep, I like giving him the freedom and hold it. Stop. I'm giving you responsibility. He's like, down. I got the sitting on a light pole, and I watched him till he took flight, so I got to watch him flying, like the signal flying, whatever. I posted it yesterday. Yeah, no, I haven't done it that way, so we can certainly try that. Thank you for reminding me. See if we can get his brain first and then try. Liberty, not even liberty working. Connection working. Can't really do connection work attached to him, you know? Like, the whole idea is that it's connected. Okay. So, I'm glad you made that, because that'll be... obviously he's very good at the mounting block, and we're going to want him to do some later. I had a cool experience the other day with one of the horses that I'm teaching how to canter confidently and not just run. After I saddled him up, I walked away from him, and he came and met me at the mounting block, and I was just like, yes! Okay, so we can start with one cone, but you're at the point where I could actually do this. I think we can do. And you know what I can do? I know what I can do. Okay, I got one more thing for you to do. From there, I want you to tell him to do like a figure eight, but you're going to turn and make the figure eight happen between these two. Him towards the barn, and then around this, back towards the barn, and then send him that way to go to that cone. So that's because he's at the point where now, yes, the mounting block should mean something to him, but if he is given further instructions, he should be able to pick up on there could be more. No, with that. So you'll do the figure eight first, and then over from there. So you have to end your figure eight on that one because it's got to get him facing this way. So he has to go to the barn first. Anytime you do a figure eight, they have to go middle out and away from you. Because if you sent him this way, the rope would get around him. Yeah, or you could do the whole figure eight, and then... And it's funny, it's like you don't want to discourage the friendly, even though it's rude friendly. Because he wasn't friendly before. Yes. Oh, okay. Good. Okay. So you just need to give him the feeling of further away. Yep. So he actually was willing to even take the rope from you. Okay. So his issues are going to be there's horses on the other side of this windows. Okay. He's got to get used to hearing the echo of the vehicles on the other side of the barn.
Okay.
You're going to be, like I said, he's like the mirror up of Epona.
Okay.
So what would normally make her go, what's that? Makes her go, what's that? Oh, I didn't fly spray. We'll see how bad it is. Okay, so actually what probably is confusing is what I would do is I would send this with you because I see that that's your plan is to get him kind of here and then get started. Instead of trying to stop him by putting energy in front of him and surprising him that way, why don't you try to hind yield him so he looks at you?
Okay.
Because what you're doing is you're kind of throwing energy here and he's like,
Yeah.
okay, I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to just guide him back. And he's not maybe ready for that kind of flow. So instead, get him stopped and asking, and then send him. So I think it'll go a little smoother with that break. Yeah. Yep. Yep. The hands and guide him. So you can see by the arch in his neck and his ears, he's asking a lot of questions. Good. Go back and do that one again. Good. 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 See, ask, and you him. So that worked really well. Ask you again. Now he did. Good. And then I didn't put this one back. Yep, yep. Offline screen. Okay, sorry, I forgot. I get one on that shoulder. Yeah. Hard. But just make him still do it, but I'll get the flash. Correct. Yep, pat his nose away. And then gently rub it. Yep, there you go. Good. Now we're going to move him away from that because I don't want to punish him for that because he feels sometimes beginning a fly spraying as a punishment. Hi. Can I do this? I'm not trying to sneak up on you. It looks like shiny. You're okay. We do this all the time. All the time. It's fun. You're okay. You're okay. My arm over there. You're okay. You're lucky I'm a generous person with fly spray. Yes, you will. Okay, so we'll do that whole puzzle again. I like what you're doing. kind of pre-paving something. See, that's what I meant by you're natural. You've got kind of the smarts to say, ooh, we might be asking for him to come to me in a minute. So let me get some of that work done. Like the spray bottle. Yeah, yeah, good. I like how much gas you said, oh, I better play with it a little bit instead of, get going, horse. Because often that's a big mistake people make is they're a lot louder than they need to be with a horse. And he's so sensitive that, God, if we can start with the refined version of it, why not start with the refined version of it? And not be sneaky, just be quiet. Train wreck. Yeah. So see how that changed it for him?
Yeah.
And it said the same thing, except for one you were looking for flow, and we didn't need flow, so. So that was nice and a little less disconnected than the first trip around. Still got disconnected, but a little less disconnected than the first trip around. Okay. What happened there is he had too much forward lean going on that couldn't make the turn. Yeah, it's not her job to watch out for your feet. It's your job to watch out for your feet. Yeah, he's assuming, so I would even do the other cone first. Just doesn't assume that pattern. I would just do the other cone first, so that way he doesn't assume that pattern, assuming the pattern. Yep, you're gonna have to get more turn on the nose. It's okay. So you're gonna somehow have to convince him he needed to look back at the door. There you go. Oh, yep, yay. And you're actually practicing your here without him even. You knocked it down. Did I tell you the whole day where I told him to pick a cone back up? Yeah, it was fun. So when he started working his mouth, that's when I knew he was definitely disconnected. That's why you had to end up kind of like grabbing him. Yep. 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 Good boy. Okay. Good job. And he was funny about his ears for a little. Kind of cool that he maybe. Go ahead. Come back. He shouldn't leave a mounting block unless he's told. Yeah, you gotta figure it out yourself. Good boy. Oh, ask him over. Yeah, good. And then you can step down and leave with him so we can release him off of there, but don't let him just spin out on you. Good. Good. Now, one of the things, kind of like Epona, is you definitely don't, so since he's so suspicious, the last thing we want to do is be, like, there's a horse I worked with yesterday where the owner's like, we got to be really slow, and the horse is a skittish horse. What do I look like?
Yeah, for sure.
Right. So the last thing you want to do is be really slow around the spooky ones. You want to be, kids are the best for spooky horses because they don't even know they're not animated. So when you got down off the mounting, I know with the intention of being careful not to have him move. However, it looked like you were getting ready to do something.
Okay.
Sometimes you have to see it to say, yeah, okay, I can see how that would look that way. Okay, so our options are to see if we can ask him to go on a circle on the short line. We can put him on a long line. I'm going to probably say the long line will allow us to have almost the whole arena. And still the ability to not let it turn into a total freaking runaway train. The short line kind of gives a different feel to him. He really believes you're in control of him, or he's not being, not helping me. Good. So I'm my little line. It's funny. I did a whole carp exercise with him one day, and he had no care. I made it cared once I started picking it up and asking him like I was going to touch him with it, but he didn't care about walking over it, running over it, stop. I got him to where I could stop him on it. That I had to, teach him. As far as just walking over it, he was like, yeah, it doesn't bother me. So it's funny that for a spooky horse, why I sometimes I want to edit out some things that I say because the first thing I say is somebody who gets to him. Because certain things he's not scared of that should have been, so his confidence comes out in things that are not, normal to him to be scared of. But then the things that looks like somebody is the reason are the things he's terrified of. I think the other day, you'll see the whole video if you do. I finally just say, shame on you, whoever did this to him.